in California. Yes, I have left Arizona. Yay! We're on the road home. Yay! Can't believe in a few short days, I will be, this time next week, I will be home in New Zealand. So it's awesome. There's still a lot to do. But first, welcome to Porchlight Letters podcast number 2284, The Help, The Goodbye, The Road. So yeah, all three happened. So yesterday, I forgot to mention when I was going through the house doing the final farewell and closing everything out in surprise, I forgot to mention that I on Thursday, the couple that came and got the washer and dryer, he had to go get his father to come help him figure out how to turn the taps off for the washing machine. And when his dad turned up, we got talking and all of that. And he volunteered to come back on Friday and clear out all the furniture that needed to be taken, take anything that needed to be to Goodwill, take the furniture where it needed to go, all of that sort of stuff. So he basically came and says, we'll get the big stuff out of here. You will just worry about the little stuff. He was a huge, huge help. And what we thought would be a 3-hour job because he was expecting a friend to come help him, ended up him working there the entire day till like around, I think it was like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the evening when he finally got everything done. And he was just an incredible help. He just met me the day before and he spent the entire day hauling furniture out of my house into his pickup truck. He'd load the pickup truck off and off he would go and take it to wherever it needed to be, whether it was somebody in the church that needed it, somebody in his family who needed it, to the Goodwill, wherever it had to go, he put it in his truck and went. And it was such an amazing, Mr. Dex was such an, sorry, Mr. Des was such an incredible person to help me with that. And he worked his butt off. And some of that furniture was not light. Like I tried to help carry out the TV stand. It's glass. And I went to pick it up and I said, man, I've forgotten how heavy this thing is. But he got it out to the truck and on the truck by himself, which blew my mind. But for him to take a day out to just help somebody he had never met before, he had only met the day before, was such a blessing and such a generous heart, very much a servant's heart, and it was so appreciated. Dex, if you sorry, I don't know why I've got Dex on the brain. Des, if you see this, thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I hope you got all the stuff that we left out front for you as well, all the extra boxes and the what would I leave out front? Yeah, all the stuff we left out front for you with the cleaning stuff. So I hope you got that today. Then when I went to close out the house, I closed the house up last night and I'd been given the code to access the lockbox to put the key in it. So I had my car parked out in the driveway. I closed up the garage. I locked the internal door. I made one walk through the house and then made sure I put the mailbox key there, the garage opener door there. And then I locked everything up. I entered the code in that I'd been given into the lockbox and it wouldn't work. And I was using my flashlight because I didn't have any lighting. It was dark. It was like 11:30 at night. No, sorry, 11 o'clock at night, 10:30, 11 o'clock, somewhere around there. It was late. I was tired. And I only had the flashlight on my phone. And I was just like, it's telling me to call a number. And I couldn't get the number because I'm trying to read it with my phone. And I've got the lockbox on my phone in the other with the flashlight. And I'm like, how am I supposed to dial the number? So I thought, hang on, I have the person at the property management company. I have their cell phone that I can call, and I'll do that first thing. And I'll do that in the morning when I come back to the house and see what they want done. So I went and I already had booked a hotel for the night, went there. It was actually it was a 2-star hotel, but it was comfortable. It was clean. It was just absolutely amazing. And I really enjoyed my stay there. It was nothing flash or fancy, but it was clean and nothing was broken. It was good. It was awesome. So I had a good night's sleep. Got up this morning and showered and dressed and all that sort of stuff. My car was packed to the hilt. It is absolutely packed because I've got stuff in there for people I've brought out here to California. I've got all the stuff. There's stuff that I still have to sort through. It was just a case of putting it in a box. We'll figure it out later. I know that there's documentation. Excuse me one moment. I know there's documentation in there Oh, that feels better. Sorry, very dehydrated today. I know that there was documentation in there which I just need to scan. I don't need to take the actual paperwork with me. So that's my job on Monday when the kids are in school. Uh, and then, so I got over, I went and closed out my mailbox. And I got the most amazing. Now, I knew that there was a package there for me. I just hadn't picked it up. So this package came from my very dear friend, Tirza, who also happens to be my business partner, and we're launching a new business. But she sent me the most, I gotta show you this. It's in my favorite color. It's purple. But this is what she sent me. So this is, oh, you can't see it there. This is our business logo, our business. Look at that, she's got New Zealand HQ on there. So I'll be the head office in New Zealand. But that's not all. She also sent me this journal, which I haven't taken out of the bag yet. But she sent me this suede covered journal, which has been laser engraved, and it has on there too, Zanakin Studios, Helen Brahms, New Zealand. So, and I said to her, this is perfect. So I sent her a video, and then I sent her a message later on and says, oh, I think I forgot to tell you that I've already joined up meetup groups in Paraparaumu, which is where I'm going to be living, which are business related. So guess what t-shirt I'm going to be wearing to those business meetings, because I don't even need to have my name badge on or anything. And I have a name badge that just says Helen Brahms. Yeah, this has already got my name on it. I don't need to. So I was absolutely surprised and totally delighted. And there was a gorgeous note that she had written in there as well. So I sent her a video from the car in the parking lot by the mailbox place to say, thank you for this. This is awesome. Love it. So I closed out my mailbox, handed in my keys, and they're sort of like, oh, where do you want the check back with us, and we'll hold your mail for 30 days, and then we can send it to you. I says, okay, that's fine. I says, in fact, give me a call in 30 days and let me know if there's any mail here, or I'll might try to remember to do that. So basically, the end of November, call them, see if there's any mail there for me, and have them forward it down to New Zealand. Yeah, it's going to be something interesting. But anyway, so I did that, then went over to the house, called the property management company, explained to them the situation. She says, well, what time were you trying to access the box? I said, about 10:30 last night. She says, oh, it closed off at 7 o'clock. The code dropped out at 7 p.m. the night before. And I'm like, oh, I wasn't aware of that. I said, but I'm here at the house. And she says, okay. She says, do you have the, doesn't that have the security lock, the one where you put your palm on it, and the keyless entry lock? And I says, yeah, it's got that, and the smart lock, I think is what she called it. And so she said, okay, just go into the house, put the key on the counter there, and then lock the door on the way out. I said, the screen door won't be locked. She said, that's fine, as long as the door into the house is locked. And she said, and then email me and then text me the code so that I can get in. So we can get in and get the key all sorted out. And I says, okay, I can do that. Well, I got to the house. I went in, I put the key on the counter with the mailbox key and the remote control, all three there, took a picture of it so she knew exactly where it was, and went outside, locked the door behind me, and then closed the screen door and got into the car and opened up the app, the Smart Rent app, to get the code for the house, to find out that my account no longer exists. My account had already been closed off, so I no longer had access to that part of the house, to be able to access the house. And so I sent her a quick text message going, we have a slight problem. The key is inside the house. The house is locked. Here is a picture of where the key is. But I can't give you the code to get in because my account no longer exists because I am beyond my rental dates. And she's just like, oh, okay, thank you. And she says, are you still at the house? I says, no, I'm about to get on the road. And so I left that place. I went into the next door neighbors to say goodbye to them, but they weren't home, so I couldn't do that. And then I hopped in the car. I left just before, it was before 11 o'clock, like 10:50, 53, 54, somewhere around there. And that was me leaving surprise. I arrived here in San Marcos around 5:30. Had a great run through. Did my normal stops, made sure I kept I didn't have electrolytes handy. So there was a couple of times I stopped at a gas station instead of a rest area to use the facilities and then to grab some electrolytes. They got the liquid IV as a drink already made up. And so I grabbed that at one point. That helped a lot with the electrolytes. I've been sucking on water ever since, and my mouth is all dry and everything else. And I have stayed away from carbs as much as possible today and tried to keep more protein orientated. So I've done pretty well with that. Haven't eaten any, hang on. I did have a Snickers and a Baby Ruth. I did grab them last one because my thought was they've got peanuts in there which have a little bit of protein, but they kind of kept me awake in the last stretch of the drive. And so my oldest son called me when I was at the last stop, and I said, "Yeah, just stopping and just having a refuel stop for pit stop at a garage. I'm just grabbing some electrolytes and that sort of thing." And I would tell this, when we were in Denver, all of us were sucking on electrolytes like crazy because we were all feeling dehydrated. The drive out today, I was getting that same feeling, but I had the electrolyte bottle next to me. I had my regular water here. And I would just take sips of the electrolytes, and that helped with the hydration during the drive. So that was really good. It was a beautiful day for driving. It wasn't hot temperature. Well, it seemed hot when I got out of the car, but then I had the AC blasting. There were times I was driving with the moonroof open, not fully open, just tilted up so the air would come in through the back. That was kind of nice too, to be able to do that, because I hate driving with freeways, driving with the windows down. But to have the moonroof, just have it popped up, that was really cool as well. And it was just a beautiful drive. And then when I got here, I didn't bother unloading the car straight away. Brandon told me, he says, the kids will help you unload the car later on. They'll enjoy that. I'm like, okay. But they were heading out for date night. And I'm like, and then they had called me previously and asked me if I would mind watching the kids at evening. I says, absolutely not. And absolutely, I'd absolutely love to do that. So I wouldn't mind at all. And so I got here, and then they left a few minutes after I got here to go on their date. They got home sometime around 8:30, 9 o'clock. And that's when I found out that Game 7 of the World Series was on. I had not been following it. I didn't know that it was Game 7 and it was tied. And they were at the top of the 10th when they turned the TV on to see what was going on with it. And so I ended up watching to the end. And unfortunately, the Blue Jays did not win. It was the LA Dodgers that won. But it was a pretty good game up to that point. See what I mean? Sucking on water. So it was a good day. So got to hang out with the grandkids this evening. It was really funny. I bought this game to play with them. I did have my oldest one time. Oh yeah, we had that game. We're down to one dice. I don't know what happened to the other two. And it's a dice game. They've got 3 dices. The first one dice tells you what the activity is you're going to do. The second dice tells you how you're going to do it. And the third dice tells you who that is playing is going to be doing the activity. It could be you. It could be you and the person to your right, you or the person to your left. I'm going the wrong way here. It could be everyone gets to do it. It could be the person across from you, the person to your left, the person to your right. You don't know until you walk. We got 2 rounds of that in until the younger 2 started a pillow fight. I just sat there in the chair and just sat back and just watched them giggling and laughing and whacking each other with pillows. And meanwhile, the oldest one was teasing the dog, and it was just pure mayhem. And it was amazing. It was absolutely incredible to watch them playing and interacting that way. And then after a bit, I says, okay, let's go get some stuff out of the car for me, because I had other stuff in there for them as well that I wanted to make sure I got in. And plus I wanted to make sure I got my suitcases in, so I have fresh clothes for the morning. And so here's my suitcases all lined up in a row. Yeah. Not showing you the other version of the room because that's just a lot of bags that need to be gone through. And so I'll do a little bit here and a little bit there to get through them. But those suitcases all have to be repacked, because I got to the point yesterday where I was just throwing stuff in there just to get the stuff in the cases, to get the stuff in the car, to get out of the house. And so, yeah, now I've got the time that I can take to unpack them and then pack them again properly. I'm sure a couple of those are already overweight with the way they're packed, but that's okay. That's okay. It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. So yeah, so like I said, the drive through here was really good, and I seem to recall like some long stretches of hills and all of that sort of thing along the I-10, but I don't seem to remember them today. They just weren't there, and the car ran like a dream today. Bluebell was sort of like, "This is awesome," and like Bluebell's like weighted down, fully packed area in the back. The seat next to me was packed with stuff as well, so I just had the driver's area, and I actually even had a little place for Zeffie's footprint, because Zeffie's footprint's still in the box in the bag, and at the end of the console is where her footprint sat for the whole day, and she had a box of tissues at the, in front of her holding it in place. So that's where she sat the entire time. Meanwhile, stuff is for some reason just behind me was falling down and coming. So when I finally got here and had to open the doors, it was sort of like had to do it very carefully as stuff was unbalanced and all that sort of thing. But by then I'd taken out the suitcases and pulled some of the stuff back. So, but yeah, the car ran really, really well. I was very impressed, super impressed with it. I'm very happy. We had a good run through. We had a great run through. The traffic was surprisingly light, but then I remembered, oh yeah, it's Saturday. There won't be as many trucks on the road, but there's still a few trucks, and I was able to tootle along. And let's see. So I left just before 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5 hours about. That's not bad. That's good for me. That was a really good trip for me. I didn't stop as much as I normally do. But yeah, that was a really good ride. At one place I tried to have a nap. I was feeling a little tired, so I had a pillow in the car and had my pillow in the car with me. And so I put it up against the window and sort of like leaned to it. And my head kind of kept sliding down. And the pillow and it was really awkward. And I think I lasted like all of 4 minutes. But I'm really happy to be here with family. I get to see family this week and get to see some friends in LA on Wednesday and Thursday. Family and friends in LA on Wednesday and Thursday. But I get to see my San Diego family through to Wednesday morning when I head up to LA. So, and then Thursday night we get on a plane and fly. I can't believe it's almost here. It's been a long, I have to say, it has been a long, long road to get to here where I am right now. But my flights are booked for Thursday. Can't wait. Can't wait. It's going to be awesome. And for those of you who are watching today who are here in the States, do not forget that daylight savings ends tonight, so you get an extra hour of sleep tomorrow, just so you know. Make sure if you have any manual clocks, which reminds me, I have to adjust my alarm clock, that you adjust it before you go to bed so your alarm's not going off earlier than it needs to. Or is it later than it needs to? I think it might be earlier because we jump back an hour. Yeah, whichever way it is. I don't want my alarm clock going off at the wrong time. So anyway, I'm out of here. And of course, I'm in California, so they are affected by that. If I was in Arizona, it wouldn't matter. So with that, I am out of here. It's been a really good day. So again, thanks to Des for all of his incredible help. Let's see, saying goodbye and surprise was it didn't actually upset me as much. Zeffie's presence was still very much felt in the house, but she was coming with me. I had her paw print sitting right next to me in the car the whole way. It's still sitting there, and yeah, she's going to get carried on the plane with me. I'm going to carry her on in my carry-on because she's special enough that she has to come in the carry-on. Which reminds me, what did I do with that? I just remembered I forgot a box, and I don't know where I put it. I have a little box to find that's going to be left here, but I have to go find that. So, yeah. So with that, I'm out of here. It's hard to believe. Where are we at? We're at Saturday now. So Saturday today, right? So Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. Hang on, Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. 5 sleeps to go. Now I can get excited. Now I can start my countdown. With everything going on with the house, I thought I would never get out of there with how much time it took and how much I had already done before the movers came in and how much was left to do after the movers had left. I was so stressed out with everything. Surprisingly enough, those nights on the couch were awesome. I slept amazing. If I could have taken my mum, sort of like, she was disappointed that I didn't bring the couches with me because she remembers those couches from she sat in them when we were in Solana Beach. She loved sitting on those couches at night and watching TV. She said it was a very comfortable couch. And she says, "It's a shame you didn't bring those with you." I says, "Yeah, I know. I'm kind of kicking myself about that one because those couches are inner sprung cushions with inner sprung base, super, super comfortable. Like I slept a week, just over a week on those couches on the three-seater couch every night for about a week until and I booked a hotel on Thursday night because I thought the couches were going to go on Thursday because somebody was interested in, of course, crickets. And so I didn't think I'd have the couches there. And I had a non-refundable thing on the hotel. So I went and stayed in a hotel that night. And then, of course, last night I had to have a different hotel because the other one was fully booked. Well, these hotels seem to get fully booked on nights I want them. But, I got to try 3 different hotels that are actually kind of neighbors to each other. So they were all in the exact same area. I had to go down the same road to get to the traffic light for all 3 of them. And I have to say, even though the first one was a 3-star, and I think, and the next 2 were 2 stars, they were all awesome hotels. They were clean. There was nothing broken in them. They were very clean, very tidy, good furniture in there, very comfortable beds. Yeah, all of them had comfortable beds. So I got good night's sleeps in those hotels, and they all had free hot breakfast the next morning as well. But only one hotel I took advantage of that was Friday morning when I went down and got some eggs because I needed protein. I needed protein so bad. But it's been this week, the fact that the house is done and I am no longer in the house. I am now in California. It is just amazing. There's been so much weight lifted off my shoulders when I drove out of Surprise this morning to think I don't ever have to come back here if I don't want to. Although I would at some point like to go back because there's a lot of construction going on right now with shopping centers and housing and all that. I'd love to go back at some point and just to see how much they've developed it because there's a lot of work going on there right now. A lot. Roads are getting torn up for several weeks because they're making them extra wide. They've allowed for the extra width to come in, so now they're putting in the extra lanes because the traffic there is to warrant it. Plus, with the new construction going in, there's going to be even more traffic on those roads. So they're now making them 3-lane roads instead of 2 lanes, 1 or 2 lanes, and now making them into 3 lanes. It's just incredible to see the amount of construction going on there. So maybe one day I'll go back to Surprise just to see what it looks like now. But yeah, 5 sleeps. Now I'm on countdown. Now I can get excited. So with that, I am out of here again. Des, thank you so much for your help. The goodbyes and surprise were easy to do, surprisingly, because I hadn't really felt at home in Surprise. I felt, even though I have a couple of friends there, I sort of felt closed off from everything. So there was a lot of alone time, which I guess is why when Zeffie passed, it was such a blow. It was such a huge blow because not only was she my dog, and we've been together for 5.5 years, or just over 5 years, almost 6 years. So 5.5. She'd been my constant companion, but we had always been together. It was always just the 2 of us. And I didn't really feel like going out and networking in Surprise. It was just one of those things But so leaving Surprise was hard in the fact that Zeffie's presence in the house is going to be missed. But my recliner, her chair, is on its way to New Zealand, and I do have a couple of her things with me. that are packed in the suitcases. So there is some parts of her coming with me, including her paw print, but I've got like the blanket, I've got like her whole bed set up that was on our bed, or my bed is coming with me. I've got a pillow, which is in the shape of a bone, that was given to her for her first Christmas from my middle son and his wife. It's got Zeffy written on it in purple. So I have that with me too, and I have a couple of her little favorite toys. So there, oh, and I packed her harness last night too, the one that she used the most. I just couldn't. That was one thing. The second hand, she had two harnesses. So the one that we didn't use the most, that was easy to donate. But the one that she used the most, it's in my suitcase. Yeah, couldn't leave that behind. So that was the hard part of leaving. But knowing that she's coming with me in some sense is really cool. So I'm going to go. I'm rambling because I'm tired. So I'm going to go get some good night's sleep now. Because who knows when the kids will wake up in the morning with daylight savings ending tonight. So go have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening as close to 6 p.m. as we possibly can. But I'm with family.